Hello, my name's Claire Shaw. I work for the Royal Literary Fund. We've been working with USDAW and other unions for the last couple of years, setting up writing workshops in workplaces. And I'm here today because, although we're in the middle of a global pandemic, it is Winnie the Pooh Day. Winnie the Pooh. I know this because Kerry Dunning, who works at the Learning Curve at Sainsbury's Argos Widnes, contacted me to tell me so. She did that because she knows that Winnie the Pooh has a very special place in RLF history. So the RLF was set up over 200 years ago, quite a bit more than 200 years ago, and it was set up to help writers who were in financial distress. That happens because writing is not a stable income. So it's a really important organisation. It still does that work. And because it's important, writers who've made their way out of financial distress have supported the RLF through things like legacies in wills. A.A. Milne, who wrote Winnie the Pooh, left the RLF some of the rights to Winnie the Pooh when he died. And a few years ago, the RLF sold those rights to Disney. Now, whatever you think about that, and whatever you think about Winnie the Pooh now having an American accent, one of the great things that came out of it was plenty of money to fund projects like ours. So we're able to offer writing supporting workshops entirely free of charge, delivered by professional writers. We do that because being able to write confidently and being able to feel just, comfortable and confident when you're writing, it has a knock-on effect. It makes you feel more comfortable and confident in your life. It gives you more control. It gives you greater choices. And there's a whole bank of evidence that life writing or expressive writing about how you feel, writing about your own experiences, that can have really beneficial effects for your physical health and your mental health. And God knows, we all need every bit of help we can get at the moment. Enter Winnie the Pooh. I only came to Winnie the Pooh as an adult. I didn't read Winnie the Pooh as a kid. And in some ways, I'm not too sad about that because it's one of the children's books that I think maybe makes even more sense as you get older. There's so many layers to it. So don't feel afraid or embarrassed about going back to Winnie the Pooh or picking up a Winnie the Pooh book for the first time. I'm just going to read you, in case you've never read any Winnie the Pooh or watched any the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, any Winnie the Pooh. I'm going to read you a little bit of a Winnie the Pooh story. This is one of my favourite ones. Honestly, there are about 30 favourite ones. It was quite hard to choose. This is the story of Eeyore's birthday. All that you need, backstory, is that they've realised it's Eeyore's birthday. Eeyore largely is down in the dumps. Pooh rushes on to find Eeyore a present, and all they can find are a load of empty jars. Pooh loves his honey. He's eaten all the honey. He has to take Eeyore an empty jar for his birthday present. Piglet, sweet little Piglet, is bouncing along with a balloon to take Eeyore for his birthday. He falls over and the present gets burst. Many happy returns of the day, called out Pooh, forgetting he'd said it already. Thank you, Pooh, I'm having them, said Eeyore gloomily. I brought you a little present, said Pooh excitedly. I've had it, said Eeyore. Pooh had now splashed across the stream to Eeyore, and Piglet was sitting a little way off, his head in his hands, snuffling to himself. It's a useful pot, said Pooh. Here it is, and it's got a very happy birthday with love from Pooh written on it. That's what all that writing is. And it's for putting things in. There! When Eeyore saw the pot, he became quite excited. Why, he said, I believe my balloon will just go into that pot. Oh no, Eeyore, said Pooh. Balloons are much too big to go into pots. What you do with a balloon is you hold the balloon. Not mine, said Eeyore proudly. Look, Piglet. And as Piglet looked sorrowfully round, Eeyore picked the balloon up with his teeth and placed it carefully in the pot, picked it out and put it on the ground, and then picked it up again and put it carefully in. Remember, the balloon is burst, it's like this big now. So it does, said Pooh. It goes in. So it does, said Piglet. And it comes out. Doesn't it? Said Eeyore. It goes in and out like anything. I am very glad, said Pooh happily, that I thought of giving you a useful pot to put things in. I am very glad, said Piglet happily, that I thought of giving you something to put in a useful pot. But Eeyore wasn't listening. He was taking the balloon out and putting it back in again, as happy as could be. Cracking story. We're going to do a little bit of writing. Really, I mean a little bit, like 4 minutes worth. But 4 minutes is all you need. And sometimes if you set yourself a tiny little time frame, like if I said, I am going to write for 40 minutes, writing would be quite a rare event. But if I say to myself, I'm going to write for 4 or 5 minutes, I'm much more likely to get around to it. We're going to do that. And we're going to write much as Winnie the Pooh might write if he was going to write. Let's see if you can see this. I don't think Winnie the Pooh would use Zoom. You might be able to see this. This is an example of Winnie the Pooh's attitude to spelling. So Al wrote, and this is what he wrote, happy birthday. Pooh looked on admiringly. I'm just saying a happy birthday, said Al carelessly. It's a nice long one, said Pooh, very much impressed by it. Pooh really didn't give a damn about spelling, and we won't either, and we won't give a damn about grammar or punctuation or rules or rhyming or whether it makes sense or whether it's any good or whether it's embarrassing or whether we should be cleaning behind the cooker or, I don't know, ringing the opticians. We're just going to write, and we're going to write faster than all those little worries and voices in your head that try to stop you from writing. We're only going to write for 5 minutes. And no, 2 minutes. 5 minutes is like way long. We're going to write for 2 minutes. And I'm going to give you some little prompts as you write. So I'm going to tell you what to write about. And you're only going to be writing about those things for 30 seconds each. So really what we're doing here is we are channeling our inner Winnies. I have to be careful saying that. We are going to channel our inner Winnies. Winnie is into good food, is into good friends, is into being happy, and he's kind of simple. He's all about the body, is Pooh. He's not about thinking. He doesn't wander around thinking. He leaves that to Owl and ER. We're gonna be more Pooh right now, and we're gonna write from our bodies. We're gonna write from the 5 senses, and I'm gonna prompt you to move through each of those 5 senses. I always forget what the 5 senses are when I do exercises like this. Sight, smell, sound, touch, taste. It's going to sight, smell, sound, hearing. No, that's the same as sound. Five senses, 30 seconds, and you're just going to write down whether it's your pen, your phone, your keyboard, what you can taste, what you can see, smell, all of that malarkey. And I'm going to prompt you to move on every 30 seconds. That is it. And we're going to start. Oh, hang on a moment. Let me set my stopwatch so I'm not lying to you about how long you're spending on stuff. Literally 30 seconds. If you go 30 seconds is no good, I want longer, well, then you can just put me on pause, can't you? And you're going to start with I hear. Starting and literally just writing down what you can hear right now. Starting now. It's great to start with I hear. Keep coming back to that phrase. And now we're going to shift on to I taste. You can use memories, you can use your imagination, you can write about what you're tasting right now if you're having a cup of tea. And then you can write about what you can smell. And you write about what you can see. Just the first things. Could be inside your mind's eye, could be where you're sitting now. Very last thing, I can feel. And be Winnie here. Don't make it overcomplicated. Maybe stick with your body and the physical sensations you can feel. Okay, so you might have ended up with a list of just 5 things. You might have come up with an example for each of those senses. Or you might have gone a bit dotty like me and written a whole bonkers list for each sense. You might find that some senses are much easier to write about than others. For some reason, I write a lot about what I can hear. I think it's just a lot easier for me anyway, to focus on. If you're someone that writes a lot, just be conscious of that and try and bring in different senses. If you find yourself writing a lot from one sense, just check out whether there's maybe stuff that you can use from other senses. If you're new to writing, notice how checking in with your body, checking in with your physical senses can bring you into contact with the world. It can make you notice things about your here and now that you hadn't noticed before. And if you have chance to listen to other people talk about their worlds, it makes you feel more connected to the world around you. It makes you feel more connected to the people around you. In fact, let's do a little bit of this. For the very last exercise, it is International Winnie the Pooh Day. Let's channel our inner Winnies and be more Pooh in the world. There was a line in this story, I brought you a little present. Let's use that and maybe have a little presence on social media. I've brought you a little present, said Pooh excitedly. And just take that list of things that you've written and make them into presents. Because sharing our realities with other people, letting them know what's going on in our world, I think it's a kind of gift. it's very easy for us to assume that the tiny details of our life are not interesting to other people, and they completely are. Actually, the tiny details are sometimes much more fascinating than the really big stories. It's much more interesting to hear about what people did with their day than, you know, people climbing up Everest. Anyone can do that, but not everybody can, you know, run the learning curve at Sainsbury's, Argos and Widnes, for example. So I'm going to use that phrase, I brought you a little present. I'm going to keep it at the top of my page, and I'm going to read through all of the writing that I've just done from my senses. I'm going to turn it into a list of gifts. I brought you. I think that's the phrase I'm going to use. And I might change it around with I give you. Muck around with it yourselves. Work out which line you want to use. So I'm going to use lines like, I give you traffic passing. I give you the tap dripping. I give you the wind howling outside. I give you the storm. Yes, this works. I offer you raspberries, the taste of summer. I offer you daisies. I give you tea, and it tastes like home. I bring you wood smoke and coal. I bring you incense. I bring you the smell of mud. I bring you the smell of home. I offer you rain down my window. I offer you the hedge. I offer you the fire glowing. I give you the door opening wide inside my chest. I give you the wooden chair beneath you. I bring you the cold air on my hands. I think that works. I'm not going to use all of those lines. I'm going to choose like 10 lines, and then I'm going to bang them out on Facebook and maybe even on Twitter. And it's going to become our own celebration of International Winnie the Pooh Day on a stormy day in the middle of a global pandemic. If you're listening through USDO or any other union, drop us a line at the RLF. We're here, our project is called Right Now, and we're here to offer free writing workshops to people in any workplace. Drop me a line personally if you're a friend of mine, and we can have a chat about how and when we get that going. If you're listening through USDO, get in touch with the ULR, get in touch with your project worker, your regional organiser, and we can sort something out for you. Or I'll see you on the monthly webinars. Ta-da! Have a great day. Happy International Winnie the Pooh Day.